Hello everyone, I'm Alex and welcome to the VirrCraft channel. Today's video will be a bit unusual. Actually, it will contain two parts. One with you regularly familiar with, we will craft a giant hammer, but the second part, well, we will get to the point why this giant hammer was crafted. So let's not waste time and deep dive into the process. To keep this video concise, I won't be showing the entire process of assembling and preparing the hammer. I will jump straight to the most interesting and important part, the painting. I will just briefly mention that the base of the hammer was 3D printed, glued together, primed and then coated with black spray paint. The dark color was chosen intentionally as it will help to highlight areas that will later be either lightly painted or not painted at all. Next, we moved on the base color. I started with the handle. First, a dark brown as the base. I also used this color to cover the skulls that will decorate the hammer itself. Brown pairs well with gold, making it a great base if you plan to cover something with gold later on. It works for the miniatures as well. After that, we lighten the brown. You can use something like beige or just white and cover about 90-95% of what you painted with the base brown. I didn't wait for the handle to dry completely before starting to paint the metallic parts. Maybe I should have been a bit more patient, but I was too eager to finish. So I didn't wait for it to dry fully and start painting metal. I also began painting other parts of the hammer that were intended to look like bronze. For the bronze part, I used my regular mix, and let's say the head of the hammer was covered in bronze color as well. But this was more like a heavy dry brushing rather than full-on painting. And of course, some of the areas was intentionally unpainted, allowing the dark base color to show through. As I mentioned earlier, I planned to paint the decorative skulls in gold. After that, I moved on to painting the handle. Here I used a light beige color, slightly darkened with the base brown. Again, I did not cover everything, just about 80% of what was covered in the previous step. To add a weathering effect, I used this ink from Vallejo Rust Effect. After that, I went over the darkened areas with silver, using a dry brush technique. Next, using a dry brush palette, I mixed a bit of light beige and white and dry brushed the handle, mostly raised parts using a simple synthetic brush. As you can see, this adds depth and highlights to the piece. To give a natural look, I added oxidation effect, I hope it's named like this, to the copper areas. Later, after adding a few final touches, I coated the entire hammer with spray varnish to protect it from external damage, since it will be part of a cosplay costume. And yes, we're moving on to the second part of this video. All of this was done to create a costume. I'm not even sure what exactly, maybe something like a fantasy dwarf or more perhaps a blacksmith. Yeah, probably more like a blacksmith from some fantasy world. So that I could participate in the annual local event called Castlefest. Traditionally it takes place in the Netherlands every summer and has been around for 19 years. After attending the festival last year, we fell in love with the atmosphere and decided this time we definitely need to come in costumes. Before we get to the final review, let's talk a bit about the festival itself. The themes are incredibly varied and uniquely diverse. You can encounter Warhammer costumes, although for some reasons there were few of them this year than in 2023. Or maybe I just didn't saw them. So, as I said, Warhammer costumes, steampunk enthusiasts, and of course pirates. Speaking of pirates, they have their own separate area and many people look absolutely stunning in those pirate costumes. And of course, naturally, there is a strong fantasy presence. Overall, it's an incredible atmosphere in which you want to return to. If you're interested to learn more, I will include a link to the official channel where you can find more information about the festival and perhaps even plan to visit it next year for the 20th anniversary. And now, before we move into the final result, I hope you found it interesting to watch the process and the information overall. Also, if you like something or dislike, put a comment below and hit this like button. It will help me a lot and I appreciate your support. So, for now, it's time to move to the grand reveal of the results. Let's go.
Bølgerne ruller så tungt ved natt, langt ute på havsens vande. Der vifter ei vind, og der intet seil. Der glimter ei stjerner i sjøens speil. Men der driver lig mot stranden. Der flyder i natten et lysende skjær, i stude på havsens vande. Der driver en kvinne i silkerig drakt, med armene stivt over sjøernes drakt. Et lyg som driver mot stranden.